Good morning, good morning. It is Thursday, it is overcast, it's likely to rain. Yay, yay, yay. Um, Let me do my tweet real quick before we forget, or I forget. That is done, we're good. Okay, so just a quick announcement to say that while we didn't have maintenance yesterday, apparently we're having it today. It is due to hit at, I believe it's 4 a.m. PDT, which is 1 p.m. CEST time. And from what I understand, the update will bring us the Heroes Evolved uh, patch, or whatever it's called. So, yeah, it's something that I think a lot of people have been anticipating. It includes things like being able to multi-queue. There's going to be cross-faction instances so that as you queue, you may come across some opposing faction players. It's supposed to help, help the queues pop and everything. New race class combinations. Pathmaster, some additional account-wide offerings such as the Protostar promissory notes that we've been piling up for ages. Those will become account bound so that you can use them on your alts to boost their um, uh, re reputation with other factions so that you can get access to decor that you might normally have gotten on your alts if they're, not as far progressed as your main, and additional Octera rewards, among other things, I'm sure. So it's going to be a fun afternoon, I guess. I think the realms are due to be down for about an hour, like an hour and a half, just count on that. I think it says an hour and 20 minutes, but it's weird that they can like specify the minutes. But hey, good morning, Poi and Zalod. Glad you guys could join us, and anyone else that happens to be lurking around. I think Maddie's out there as well. But yeah, so be looking out for that. Again, it's going to be this afternoon for those of us in the EU area. But hopefully there's no big major bumps. I'm not sure why they chose today instead of yesterday when our normal maintenance goes on, but maybe there was some last minute things that they wanted to iron out before they got it all sorted. Um, But yeah, I really can't remember if there was any like housing related stuff that was coming in with this. I assume we might see some additional things. I'll be on the lookout for it, but I don't want to get anyone's hopes up because I don't know. I've been kind of foggy brain, so I don't know what stuff is like on the way and what isn't, or when it's going to be. I know I tweeted out some information. Wildweave still continues with their data mining, even though the site itself is kind of stalemated. Um, and there was some Red Moon Terror content that they were showcasing with some of their data mining that they've been doing. And it included the toilet seat that I think it was Jen Bardick, I believe it was, or it might have been KDM that was kind of giving us a peek at it. But they had that and a stage and some lighting and other things, even some doors. There's a round door that's shown there. And I think it was, well, I don't remember who it was, but they confirmed that that one and two others apparently are going to be functional doors. So that's going to be interesting. Maybe it slides open, or, does it swing open, or, make a little swooshing sound? I don't know. But, oh, is that true, Maddie? Well, that's, well, that's good information. Dreg flag from the Thade challenge bags. I don't normally do those too often unless the challenge is on the contract board. But lately, I've just kind of been ignoring the contracts board, except when my husband decides to do them. We've mostly been just concentrating. If there's any Arctera contracts, we pick those up and we go go do the Arcterra stuff because I've been getting some of the Soul Frost stuff for Melon's plot. Anyway, so yeah, heads up about the maintenance today, and hopefully whatever comes with it smoothly and no really winks and wonkles. I know it's been on the PTR for a little bit, so hopefully they got most of it ironed out before it goes live. Um, so yeah, we're back on my alts plot. This is Parsnip's place, and we're going to tinker with the modular house again. I've been really, really delighted with the participation level on this. I mean, I've been really delighted with the participation level with all of our CBDCs. I think it's been amazing that so many of you have been willing to engage in them and are finding them entertaining in some form or fashion. But I was a little skeptical that this one might, you know, hold the same interest because of the complications of having to get the code for the house and then having to install it and how much it costs and the size that it is and how many pieces it takes up and everything else. And I just wasn't sure that there would be enough people that would be willing to take it in and put it on their plot. But it's been a really big turnout so far, so I've been really happy with that. And I've already gotten some sneak peeks at some of the uh, ways that some of you have been decorating, and I can tell you it's going to be an amazing showcase at the end of the month because there's such a variety of approaches to just these little simple houses. I've been very uplifted by the results so far, and I haven't even seen all of them. It's even gotten my husband involved in this particular challenge, which is really saying something because he's not too inclined to mess with the housing. He doesn't have a whole lot of patience, but he's been putting the effort in for this particular challenge, and he seems intent on learning the Katya's add-on tool, and it's not going to be anything to your guys' caliber, I'm certain, but I'm encouraged that even someone that's really not too used to working with the tools, is not very confident in their skills and stuff, is still willing to give it a try. I mean, I didn't ask him to join it. I didn't pull his arm or anything, or say you have to do this. I haven't been helping him other than to give him tips as far as like how to use the toolkit and things like that. But I haven't actually been, I haven't even really looked at what he's been doing. I just hear him, you know, using some expletives to the side every now and then, and he'll fuss, and I say, you got a problem? And he goes, well, I clicked this and it disappeared. And I'll tell him, well, you need to be, because like in the beginning he would like stand and put his item down and it would be red, and then he'd place it and get all flustered because it didn't stay. And I said, hun, anytime it's red, that means you're standing in it, so don't get, you know, move yourself out of it where you want to put it. And he's like, oh. And so he's like a true beginner, and I'm anxious to see just how far he gets with it. So yeah, what we did before, I've kind of just skipping from section to section because I'm a little bit limited as to how much decor I have left to place on the exterior of this particular plot. So rather than just concentrate on one specific part of the house, I've been kind of spreading my attention in different areas just so we get a little bit of something. It's not only to show that I'm willing to go along with the challenge along with you guys. You know, even though I decorated one before, I really started that one without the concept of having the challenge to begin with. That was something that evolved later on. So I wanted to go along with you guys doing the challenge, but I also wanted to provide some additional ideas, um, uh, not exactly tips, but, you know, kind of point out areas that, you know, might be problem points for certain folks, especially like the thin walls, having to deal with finding objects that you can customize your furniture with without having it poke out everywhere and stuff. So that limits you on how you approach your building. In certain ways, instanced homes have big advantages in that you can sink things into the walls and you don't have to worry about what's going on behind what you're seeing. And in this one, it's a little bit more tricky. So, like for instance, the first time we did uh, the other modular house, I kept with the curved interior. In this particular one, we blocked it off, and that could help those that have trouble with curved surfaces, trying to make that fit smoothly. Then you can just block it off and have it look a little bit more like, I don't know, easier to work with, I guess. So we started with the living room section over here, and then we moved on to the kitchen, and they both have still some work left to do. There's detailing I could add and other features that I could probably incorporate. I mean, I haven't even got any furniture yet, no seating or tables or anything like that. But I'm going to move on to the bedroom area so we can kind of get that started and get an idea of what we're going to do with that. And then once I get that done, I'm probably just going to leave it the three main sections, the bedroom, the kitchen, the living room, and then we'll start fleshing it out as much as we can with the limit that I have left, which again is not too much. So we will see. It really, when you do this customizing stuff, a lot of the times, the more detail you put in, the tougher it becomes, especially on the exterior, because um, you not only have to worry about the house that you're customizing and the furniture that you're customizing that goes in the house, but also the landscaping. So if you really want to do a full-on customization of your furniture and stuff, an interior house would probably be better, because you just have more leeway as far as that. It could be, Maddie. I don't know. I'm not sure what your question means. I challenges in home. Do you mean like the expeditions and such, or like the fab kit challenges? Not quite sure what the question is referring to. Because I'm talking about the CBDC challenge. It's something else. So yeah, boy, I'm not quite clear on that. But yeah, it could be just a perspective thing, Maddie, because it should scale up, both ways, all around whatever bit it is. It's probably just a visual thing. It's like when you're taking screenshots, depending on how you're standing, sometimes it looks like the object is a little crooked to the floor when it really is, and it's just how it looks. That usually happens to me if I'm in like first person view. It looks really like fishbowl or something. That's kind of why I like to play with my camera zoomed out most of the time, because it looks more in proportion to itself. Well, I think it depends. The challenges used to be most of them granted their own specific rewards, but I think most of the challenges, like the ones you're talking about, I think most of their rewards have been moved to the renowned vendor. Um, I say that, and there are still some challenges like the boxing gym fab kit that still rewards decor of its own. There's the Arcterra refugee um, camp that also has like a daily quest that you can do, and it has a challenge that um, it gives you some decor and stuff. The rest of them that used to award the decor, I think they're more on like a challenge bar, and you get like a goodie bag at the end after you fill up the bar. So it kind of works like the Thade challenges and stuff. And it really just depends on if you're looking for something specific. It would probably be better if you just grind the renown and buy it straight from the vendor. unless, again, it comes from one of those challenges that actually still rewards the item. Like if you're looking for the kitchen sink, it would be better for you to do the boxing gym challenge than to try and buy it off of the auction house because it's rather expensive. But like if you're looking for, say, well, let's just go see. I think it's
my prices are preposterously low.
Like if you're looking for the, I'm trying to think of one that I know where it came from before, like the plush event. I think that one came from the Shardspire Canyon challenge. You know, I would rather just spend the renown and get the plushie rather than try and do the challenge and maybe have a chance of getting it out of the box that comes from the end thing, I think. Yeah, Bone, some of them are good. It like the campfire, I think, is probably the most worthwhile item that you can get from there because it's used to be, I think, a random world drop, and now you have a chance of getting it to drop from that daily, and that saves a lot of hunting on the AH and a little bit of coin as well because they used to be fairly expensive, like a plat or more. Yeah, same with, well, that, and I'm a little a little lazy lately. I don't feel like messing with it. So okay, so bed. We're gonna do a bed. So usually when I'm doing a bed, I'll get a mattress out. And something I always do with like chairs and things like that, I always try to scale it to my character. So I think this is pretty clear that this is a little bit on the big side for her, but what I do is I just layer down to see just how big it is in comparison to her, and then I size it accordingly. Like the Marauder chairs, those are my favorite to use for scaling for seating. Um, I think I figured out that zero point 0.7 for the scale for the chairs is about right for her. So when I go to do a couch or a custom couch or a custom chair, I'll put one of those Marauder chairs out at the zero point 0.7 scale, and then I'll make sure that the seating height and everything is the same on that as my custom stuff. Because even though she doesn't actually get to use the custom chairs and things like you would wish she could, um, I just make sure that the scale is the same, just to make sure it's the right way. Just like if I build a chair on the exterior and I want a copy of it in the interior, I always make sure I use the CATIA's thing. I don't just rebuild it downstairs because I might get the scale funky or something. So just try it again. I think zero point 0.7 is usually um, about right. I know she's a little scrunched up, so if I actually had her stretch out, she'd probably be about right. So we'll just leave it at the zero point 0.7. I don't know why that works for her size, the 0.7, if that was on purpose. Maybe one scale is automatically set for the taller races or whatever, but okay, first let me get this kind of centered here. Now I just arbitrarily placed this out. I didn't really think, well, do I want it that big or anything like that. Now I could, you could make it where the bed is long waist if you want, coming out this way. But I think I'm going to do it a different way for her. This is just her. Let me check. Yeah. Now the empty one, if you want to have empty shelves, that costs you 2,500 renown. It's a little pricey, especially for starter ones. But if you're looking for just you want like the surface or something, then it's cheaper to buy the stocked one, especially if you're not planning on actually showing um, uh, the bits in the front. If you're just wanting the colored part. What I'm going to do, I think. Hey Faye, good morning. Glad you could join us. Let's see. Also, the unstocked doesn't come with this extra bit, which I'm trying not to use, but this way now. Don't know if this is going to work. Like I'm intending, but I'm going to try it. That's 5. Let's put it at 4. What on earth are you using tons of trophy gears for? I know those are a fun item, though. I use them quite a bit. Okay, now question is, do I want that on this side and then the straight ones on this, or do I want I think I want it like that, yeah. So how many of you been bitten by the Pokemon bug? My son is super anxious to get going with it here. Of course, it's not released in Belgium yet, so he's all freaking out about it. But he's ready to go, I think. Hey Jim, glad you could join us. And anyone else that happens to be lurking around. I know we have a lot of lurkers. I say a lot. We have like probably 1 or 2 people that lurk. I'm not sure I like that, but we'll leave it there. So when you're making a bed, like the biggest, I think, thing everybody kind of freaks out about is the blankets. There's lots of items you could use for blanket coverings, and strangely, a lot of them are blue. But there's like the sleeping bags, the folded shirts. There's the rugs. You could use the rugs. Typically, the more rectangular shaped ones, the round ones, maybe not so much, unless you like really layer them in. But like the rugs, you could really use anything that's relatively flattish You could also use other things. I mean, I showed that we use like cardboard boxes as a pattern blanket kind of thing. And of course, we have the new summer decor that has the towels that will probably make awesome beds. We've seen some furniture already made yesterday on a summer plot, so I'm sure beds and stuff will be, well, actually, I think there was beds there too that had the, uh, the beach towels and stuff. So um, there's there's some good options, but whenever I make a new bed, I always try to find something different that I haven't tried before. So we're gonna see if I can come up with something new. Well, I think my phone is always okay with the Pokemon thing. It's just it's not here yet. So, although I think we already saw some kids playing out front, we suspect that we have a little. I don't know if you guys know what it is. It's like a little house, like a miniature. I don't know if it's like a little shrine thing or something, but it's got like one of those statues of the ladies praying, and it has a little like a roof over it, and people put flowers and stuff in it. And it's right across the road from us, and we saw some kids kind of hanging out there with their phones, and we suspect that maybe they downloaded it early, which is probably a no-no, and we suspect that that's been labeled as a Pokestop. So that might be kind of awesome for us if it actually is, because it's like right across the street. We won't have to go nowhere for that. But yeah, it should be interesting once it actually hits. I saw that Germany got theirs yesterday, so it's getting closer, I guess. A little star-like thing. That'll be how I'd be describing mine. My son, he used to be a real big Pokemon fan when he was younger, and apparently he still watches it and stuff. I didn't realize he did, and we went for a walk this morning, and he was talking to me about it, just naming them off. I said, "Boy, the things you remember." And yeah, so some of the new fireworks could probably work as colorful blankets and such. Um, some things I find for a lot of our decor, aside from like the summer decor and the firework decor, most of our stuff is pretty um, like nature tones, like browns and grays and kind of off greens and stuff. The Orin decor is about the only ones that have a little bit of color, but theirs are slightly muted even. It's more like uh, soft pastels and stuff. So it's kind of tough to find. I mean, we have some items that have some color to it, but there's a lot of stuff that's um, pretty bland looking, and it's not necessarily great for making nice comforters or blankets or quilts or whatever you want to call it. Let's see. Pillows are another good thing to go to if you're looking for. I see a lot of beds being used with the pillows. They use them as different layerings. Sorry. Yeah. Well, see, I wouldn't have known that. But yeah, my son's been trying to tell me he's been avidly watching Pokemon Go videos, getting prepared, finding all the tips and things and sharing them with me because he's wanting us to be on the same team and stuff, which I have no idea what about that stuff either. So should be fun. If it gets him out of the house and walking around, all the better. That should be a good thing. Okay, I'm looking for something. What am I looking for? I want something cheap that maybe, I don't know if that would look right. Let's see how that looks. We'll have a taco bed. Wouldn't that be weird? Yeah, that seems a little odd. I don't like the shape of it, how it has to be bowed. Something flat is probably much better. Books would probably be another handy thing. Let's see, like you could like use the spine to your advantage to like make the pillows. Like I can show you what I mean here. And we'll link those two together. Yeah, boy, I think it's 3 teams, but I don't. I know there's like a really like one sentence lore or something tied to them, but I have no idea what that actually means, if anything. Yeah, we're aware of the awesome houses on NA side. It's just one of those things. We don't go over there. I've had some people ask. There are, in fact, 3 people or 3 groups slash people that do NA tours. They'd be the ones to really get a hold of if you want to make sure that your house is toured. And then let's say we want to make trying to decide, do I want to go this way or this way? Let's try it that way. And they're all linked on my Twitch channel page if you're curious. It's Noriak, Adelon, and Ayuni's group. Ayuni's does Twitch streams every Monday. As yet, we don't believe that they actually record the videos, so if you aren't able to catch them live, you just kind of miss out. But I'm sure if enough people request that they start recording the videos for later consumption, I'm sure they would be happy to work on that. Maybe I should turn it this way. that it gives me that edge on the other side, so it looks like it's tucked in. Am I a designer? No. I don't have a day job. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here at like 8:30 in the morning. No, I have the luxury of just being a simple housewife that has too much time on her hands and is just enjoying goofing around in the game. That's about it. That sums it up for me right there. I used to be what they call a technical illustrator, if that is any indication of anything. What it was is like, when you come across manuals for, like, say, instruction booklets on how to put together something or how to repair it or whatever, that was what I did. I did the illustrations for those kind of things. Yeah, look into a blanket. Is that what you do, Bones? Seriously, you're a designer? But yeah, I used to work for, it wasn't actually an airline company. It was a company that worked for, well, they built, okay, like airplane engines and how noisy they are. They built or designed what they called hush kits. Um, it was like an attachment that you stick onto the engines to make them quieter when they run. And that's the company I worked for. I used to do all of the images for that, and I did mine all by hand. It was kind of stupid because when I was in college, um, my chosen field was like fresh and new, and by the time I finished college, that's it was like when I started, that was just when the computer boom was coming, and by the time I graduated, they just did away with my particular thing because the stuff I was doing by hand, the computer did faster. So I kind of got skipped over in the process of the few years that I was in college. So by the time I come out, there wasn't really any big calling for my expertise. But I ended up hooking up with a company that was a little bit behind the times, so they were willing to take me on even though I wasn't computer savvy. In fact, we had a group come in from California just to tour the facility, and they were like, "So, how many's on your team?" And it was like, "It's just me. I'm the only one here." And then when they realized I was doing most of it, or if not all of it, by hand, they were like, "Oh my gosh." Well, I don't know. It seemed kind of to work, didn't it? Not too bad. I might double this up just to make the pillow a little wider, I think. I'm not sure that would work okay. I may have to shrink it a little bit. But yeah, so I have had some drawing and stuff in the past, but it's not like I do that professionally anymore. I just do it for fun. Um, Sometimes I'll do drawings for family members and stuff like that. The pillow looks odd. Why not use a regular pillow? Well, because I'm one of those that I prefer to use custom stuff most of the time if I can get away with it. And I much prefer to do that. Kind of what this is, custom built decor challenge. So anytime I can customize it, I'm going to go for it, whether it looks a little odd to some people or not. It's just something I want to do. Okay, so there's the bed and blanket thing. We could add some drawers here. That would be something you could do. Let's see. I wonder if the 2x4s would work, if they would show up. As a lighter wood, yes, it looks like they do. So what I'll probably do is, let's see. Just, because, when you have a little compact house like this, they really stress um, uh, that they're keen on finding any which way that they can, save space. So there's lots of storage, little nooks and crannies. Every little bit is used. And so it's kind of fun to pretend that that's the same way in here, that they're going to utilize every bit of space. So underneath the bed is going to be some storage bits. Or maybe it's just decoration. Maybe you just want to add some decoration, but mine's going to be drawers, I think. Notice again, I'm just eyeballing the position, just kind of seeing what looks all right to me. Did you make a new word? Yeah, maybe my Orin likes the little funky pillows. Double it up. Stack one on top of another when she's reading a book or something. Who knows? I'm going to push this down a little bit to make that overlap a little bit wider. That's the little turn down part. That just kind of happened. It just kind of worked out that way when I turned it. I really wasn't intending to do that. It just kind of looks like it. Okay, handles for the wood. Let's see. If I'm going to use it here, I might want to also use it over here. So, bottles are favorites. The hammers is another one. Pillars are also favorites. The crates, like a lot of the containers, some of them have nifty little handles and such. Let's go here to show you what I'm talking about. Like this one has an interesting little bobble on the top that you could probably use. There's, if you're looking for some really spiky looking ones, or like the one on the very tip top that's really kind of hard to see, like, let me show you. Use that as a handle. Just sink it in and size it down however you need to. And then there's your handle. In fact, let's go ahead and use that one. We'll use that. But another favorite is the handles here from the wooden crate. The only thing is you have to contend with, if you have so many that you want and maybe the spacing isn't just right, you may have an extra one of these or something, but you can hide it. Stick it in there where you need to. That's good. You guys and your weird words. Hubby says I'm notorious for coming up with strange ones because of the way I jibber jabber when I'm nervous in the car. In fact, I did that again. Well, I do that every day actually if I'm in the vehicle, but they'll always ask me, can you repeat that? And I was like, no, that's a once in a lifetime thing because I don't have any idea what I just said. See if we can get away with And I think the vase is a little too chubby. Yeah. Or maybe if I tilt it a bit, that would help. Then I can kind of get away with it being a little bit bigger. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Let's just put one on each drawer. That'll be okay. Still gonna have to bring that down. There we go. It's like the last one in the other modular house. We used that particular piece for the pillows on this bed. It's the same piece, but we just used it as a pillow. It's a little spiky on the ends, but you know, if you can get past that, you might have a good night's sleep. Okay, so have the little drawers, some extra storage. I'm going to kind of ignore that this is kind of sticking out a little bit here. I'm not going to worry about it too much. If you want, you could box it in as well if you want. Maybe add a 2x4 just across here if you want. Let's see. I say it and then I go ahead and do it. I don't know why I hesitate. Put one across to kind of clean up the lines, I guess. And then add another one this way. Wow, my stomach is just going nuts. Oops. Just turned that back the other way, didn't I? Now, let's go see if any of that is sticking out where it shouldn't be. No, we're still good. You can see a little bit of the dresser there. I'm going to ignore it, though. I may move it later. Probably have to push it in just a little bit. I'll wait till I get it all set, and then we'll see. But there, that kind of cleans that up and raises it a little bit, too, and just makes it look a little bit neater than it was. Move this a little bit. And of course, if you don't like the mattress, you could use something else. I think we saw Maddie used the snow decor, the snow rock blocks, or ice rock blocks, or whatever it's called, the little square snow cubes. That can be used for like the mattress, or the what do you call it, the under sheet or something, the fitted sheet. You could use the towels, another book if you want. We don't really have a white book that I know of. Maybe the open book could work, but that might be a little weird looking too because it's a little curved and stuff. But like if you're looking for strictly white stuff, the mattress, the towels, specifically I think it's a striped towel that looks the whitest. Oran floor would probably work all right if you want to use that. That kind of thing. I'm just going to leave it the mattress. Like that. Okay, so now we have the bed. We could add some like don't really need nightstands and stuff because we got the shelving here. I think that would be okay. If I want, I could move this to the side, and that would make room for like if I want to pretend there's a bathroom over here or something. Or we could just leave it like it is and then add like some kind of shelving or cabinetry for like a clothing closet or whatever like that. What I'm going to do, I think, is we're going to link all this up. I'm going to link it to this big piece here. Because now that I saw that it's showing on the outside, I'm determined to fix that. Okay, is that everything? Oh, the boards. Now, if you're really savvy with Katya's add-on, you can set it up so that as you're working on building a structure like this, it'll auto-link anything that's related to the target. But I get nervous about using that because, for one, I tend to kind of build a little scattier than I'm doing here. I tend to like, I'll add an item here and then I'll go over here and add something and then I'll go over here and add something and that kind of thing. I'm kind of really forcing myself to do it, kind of focusing on one particular area when we're doing this. Um, so I tend not to use that feature, but it is there for those that build like this on a regular basis. Um, uh, that way you don't have to do like I'm doing and go back and click everything to make sure it's all attached. So, okay, I'm going to select that and then I'm going to see if I can get rid of this bit sticking out here. Not a whole lot. Most people probably wouldn't notice it. Most probably won't even care, but I'm a little persnickety when it comes to that stuff, so I pay attention to it. Maybe that's why everyone goes, "Oh no, Garrett's going to visit my house. It's going to look awful," because maybe they're afraid that I'll like pick on that kind of thing. But I try not to be too mean or anything when I go and tour somebody else's. Because I understand there's lots of stuff in mine that are off, so I don't have a lot of room to complain about somebody else's. But the only thing that I tend to point out if I notice it is like the flashing stuff, and even I am guilty of that at times. Because there's ways to avoid it, but sometimes just depending on how you build it and what you're using, there's just no way to do it. And I sometimes have pointed out just to say I wish they would fix that so that it didn't do that, but I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of extending it. I'm going to do something similar to what we did over here by boxing it in. I'm thinking that's what I'll probably do here and just add some kind of maybe places for them to hang pictures and stuff. Rather than dealing with that curved bit, I'm just blocking it off. Again, just eyeballing. I'm not really getting too accurate with anything here. I had someone asking me yesterday about something about the yaw and the roll and the pitch. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm probably the worst person to ask on that stuff because I see it when it's here, but like when I go to like click if I'm looking at yaw and I'm wanting to change the yaw, I forget what arrow I'm supposed to be looking for. I just start clicking and see which one moves. I don't know. I just, like if I'm looking for it to be even, like if this is like 0.03, I'll go ahead and change it to 0 because that's the closest. But beyond that, I'm like clueless as far as when it comes to the smarts on that, the geometry of it, I guess. Oh, you must be talking about Katya's IKEA, Cat IKEA, I think. Um, we actually have the same thing over on our side of the pond. That's on Kath Lee's plot. In fact, I've got a link to it on the Twitch channel page. Um, uh, it's Z's Alts plot, I think. They have everything, even from the cash shop and everything. And I don't think Z actually offers to. Um, well, maybe it's a copy, or I know there's several people that's done like architect type builds to show what's all available. But yeah, it's nice when people do that. I think, well, like with Kath's version, also showing all of the shop, like housing decor stuff that you get from the cash shop. Uh, I personally wouldn't want to do that because then you're forced to spend money. Maybe you might not want to, just so that you can outfit um, the shop with your plot with everything that comes. And eventually, they're going to run out of space. That would mean that they would be forced, if they want to keep it up, they would have to add another plot that is a continuation of it. And now I'm using 2x4s for this, but if you don't want to spend that much, you could maybe use like an exile floor and just do it like that and be like less decor for sure. I just happen to like the 2x4s, how it looks. Called the decor store. Well, I think it's nice that folks do that kind of thing, especially for those that don't use the decor shopper that's on the Katia Builder Toolkit. Because the only thing I don't like about Katia's is it doesn't actually say like where you get it from. I know there's links to like the Jabbit site, but it's not like detailed right there in the thing. But I think she mentioned somewhere that she was working on trying to um, work in cahoots with someone else to be able to get that information into the KBT, to have all that information provided as to like where you would get it, how to obtain it, whether it's a world drop or something that comes from a reputation vendor, or if it's crafted, or if it's currently not available in game, that kind of thing. So I'm sure she's working on it, but yeah. Well, like I said, with today's update, that might be easier for alts as far as being able to get the reputation levels that they need for certain things. Because that's one of the things when I'm working on my alts, I kind of, it's not that I necessarily always purposefully limit myself to the housing vendor, but for certain reasons I have to, because they just don't have access to all of the rep vendors like my main does. I think most of them have access to like Galeris, and then that's about the cap. everything else is like off limits. So a lot of the plushies and a lot of the details like uh, some of the fancier stuff like the stepstones from Starcom and things like that that I would love to use in other places. I just don't have the opportunity to get them because those are all soulbound. So you have to have the rep with your character. Well, now that the promissory notes are going to be account bound, all of the stacks of them that I have on Carrot, I'll be able to transfer over to some others and hopefully get them access to those goodies. Okay, so I'm going to link this up. Let's see. Now again, if you were in a place where these are the only 2x4s you used, you could just use the link like decor feature and get it done really quickly. But for me, I don't know, I'm worried I'd pick up some of these over here that I don't want in the set. I did that before when I was saving all of my Christmas decorations or Winterfest decorations from last year, the little sets I made. I would pick up things that I didn't mean to and it'd look a little weird. Okay, so I got that all sorted. I think I'm in the teens. No, we'll just do that on 15. I'm going to add link set, place all on link, and then I'm going to drag that over. Notice there's a gap there. Deal with that here in a minute. Just checking, making sure I'm not messing it up. And then I'm going to take one of these boards, bring it upright. And yes, the little rotating bug is still there, it's still an annoyance. But thankfully, most of the time, Katya's toolkit fixes it. There we go. So now it's all blocked off, just like the other end. All right. So there we have the start of the bedroom. Now, like I said, I could pretend like maybe there's some cabinet doors here, just make some faux doors as if it's like a hanging closet for like shirts and pants and stuff. Yeah, I think in the beginning they suspected it had more to do with being close to the hatch house. A lot of people speculated that the rotation kind of worked when you were too close to there, but I haven't had been anywhere, and on plots that don't even have the hatch house. So I know that's not really the cause. I don't know what it is. Probably a number of different things, but yeah, it's pretty annoying. Okay, so let's faux doors. What would we use for faux doors? Let's use these little beauties. Yes, I just made a whistle sound on my talking there. Let's see, this is the short one. Let's get the long one. Let's get the decking long. I keep whistling. I don't know why. Deck. Long. I like using this against the the regular 2x4s because it's a different color brown, so it's a nice contrast. I like that. No other reason other than, you know, it's easy to get a hold of. So. Or maybe this leads to the little back room that has a bathroom in it. That's where the bathroom is or something. It could be that. Down to that size. Yeah, it's just something different. You know, traditionally I build it the long way. I thought, well, that's more like for a double bed. So I figured it'd be fun to just do it the other way, just to see. Like I said, you could add, you know, maybe you don't want the drawers. Just add some decoration if you want to add some frillies. This would be one that you could add a little canopy on it really easily. Have like, if you want to ornanize it up, there's a word for you. Use the fence post here and then just kind of drape some grassy stuff across the top or something. Or use the regular drapes or, you know, whatever else you might want to tinker around with. But that would be a real good one to use a canopy on. Could probably easily be, I mean, if you like the bumpy part on the front here rather than on the sides, you could switch it. I just figured it would look better this way, as this is supposed to be like the headboard part and the footboard or whatever. So let's see. What am I doing here? I have no idea. No. Let's add the handles first, I guess. Now, I don't think we'll have the luck of being able to use this over here as well, but I'm going to try it. And then we're going to see just how bad it's poking out. Oh, well, awesome. There's enough of a gap there that it's not showing up, which is excellent. And those aren't spaced the same, so let's. That's okay. So now we'll copy this all up, or link it all up, and then we'll copy it. Clear this, and link set. Get it over here. Now, I did have a few questions from folks about the challenge for this this month. And while I tried to address everything in the little FAQ that I put together in the forums, we still had a few asking some questions. Like, for instance, there was one that wanted to remove some pieces from the roofing and somewhere else around. And rule of thumb, consider this little modular house, whatever flavor you decided to get, consider it as one piece. Even though it consists of 240 plus, treat it as one piece. So you're not allowed to remove anything. You can modify it by adding to it, or covering it up if you want, like if you don't like the color of the floor being the same as the ceiling, then you can just add to the flooring to make your carpets or whatever you're going to do, but don't remove anything. The main reason I want to stick with that is because that way everybody's kind of on the same playing level. Uh, Nobody, because if I allow one person to remove, like say they want to make the door a little wider or a little more narrow or something like that, and they remove a couple of these planks on each side, well, then someone will go, well, they got to remove that. Can I just chop off the end and open it up and make a little porch on this part? That just kind of changes things a little bit to, a little bit more than I'm intending. I want you to pretend as if this is a single piece that you've been given, and then you just work with what it is. Um, Now, there has been some that's asked, what if I uh, build some structures next to it? Does that detract, or is that allowed? Yes, that's allowed. For instance, I mentioned like on here, notice I don't have a bathroom yet. I could force myself to add a bathroom as I did in the first one, but if you feel like you want to dedicate most of the space to just a couple of rooms of the house, and you can legitimately say, hey, there's an outhouse in the back, then that would be perfectly fine. If you want to pretend like, say I treated this as an actual door. I built it up as a door and I put a handle on it and everything. And then I tacked on an extra bit here, extended this. You could do it that way, I guess. Just don't remove anything. You just have to pretend and just have an extra access over here, like it's a access to a porch. And then there's an actual, little covered area here with another door that gives you a way to get into it. That would probably work. But to actually remove any of the pieces, I've asked people not to. Now, after the competition, well, not competition, but after the challenge, at the end, when the showcase is done, if you feel like you want to modify it even further, go for it. If you want to cut it in half, supersize it till it's the size of your plot and build like little mini rooms all throughout, that's your business. But for the sake of this particular challenge, I want to keep it as one intact piece, even though it's made up of multiples. Just FYI for those that are still curious or are afraid to ask, even though you shouldn't be. Those are some things. I'm trying to think of anything else folks have been asking over the last few days. If you know of someone that wants to do the competition and they just haven't been able to get a hold of me, or maybe it's just more convenient, and you happen to have a copy of one of the houses and they want to use the same kind of house, you're more than welcome to share that. I know some of you have already done that, but just for those that aren't sure, that's perfectly allowed. Just let me know who's picked it up, and so that I can add them to the list. I don't really want you giving out the code just to anybody. I want them to be actually planning to participate in the challenge. Afterward, I will probably just share the codes for those that want to pick one up for themselves afterwards, but for the sake of this month at least, I would like to kind of keep it just for you guys that are participating in the challenge. So if you know of somebody that's interested in getting one of the houses and they're asking you about it, be welcome to share it if they too plan to participate in the challenge. If they're just wanting it for the sake of wanting it and having it, save that for later, because I'd like to keep it just exclusively for you guys for the moment. And of course, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to try and clarify if something isn't quite clear and what have you. Okay, so I think that's it for the bedroom. I'm not going to get too much fancier. I mean, if you're going to add lights, the lighting could probably be like, say, you want to do my favorite, the sconces, um, I would probably just make them like little insets. See, I don't want to do that. As if they're like built into the little case here. Like so, like, you know, it'd be for like not just like reading a book or whatever, but also maybe to show something that you have there that you've collected. So something like that. And then just repeat it over here. And that way you have some lighting for your bedroom. That way you don't have to worry about doing nightstands or little tables for the lamps and stuff. If you want, if you don't want them on the bed, you could put them here on the shelf. Up here you could have books and collectibles and all sorts of things. Here you could pretend this is where your extra blankets and stuff are. Here would be where your clothes are, like either shelves or hanging closet type of thing. We have it, I think, on video, but I haven't seen it in ages. We've got like lots of kiddie films that we got when my son was younger, and I mean, we still get kiddie films now. I mean, we've got all the latest Disney films, I think, but I don't know. It's one of those things. I usually watch them once, and then I don't watch them too often. I think the latest one we've rewatched is Kung Fu Panda, I think. If you want to add some decoration, you don't want to just leave it the doors. You could add some extra framing if you want, just to double it up. You could add more cabinets up here, long ways, little box ones, like using the small these here. Um, and you can add other details like having a book laying on it or discarded clothes or whatever. Um, we might add a dresser somewhere, just another one that has like, or maybe a desk or something. The only reason I'm not is it's a little crowded and I don't want to get too into it as well. We're hitting about almost 2,400, so we're getting kind of slim. That's another reason why I'm kind of backing off of it is too, because I would like to add some furniture here somewhere. We need like a kitchen table and a living room eating as well. So I think that's what we'll concentrate on tomorrow is adding some seats, some sort. Um, and maybe thinking about, do we want to split off the rooms with some kind of divider, whether it be a full-on wall or like a half wall or like a partition that has like a window in it so that you can actually see through it, like maybe like a breakfast bar kind of thing. Um, do we want to, I mean, I haven't even added any kind of window treatments. There's still a door to contend with. What kind of porch I'm going to put on. Is it just going to be steps or is it going to be something elaborate like this? Um, so there's still a lot left to tinker with, and I'm getting kind of slim. What I may do is consider maybe removing some of these spares just to make some room so I can kind of finish this up. But I've been leaving these out for those that might come by to have a close-up look, for those that might want to. So maybe I'll save that for like the last week or so, so that anyone potentially that might want to get into the challenge still has a chance to come and look at these up close to see if they want to pick that particular version or whatever. Yeah, that's a good one, Bones. I like that one. Um, I can't think of any others off the top of my head. But yeah, I know it's not been too long, guys, but I think we're going to wrap it up for today. I appreciate you joining me, and I hope you had fun. I know it's not a perfect little combination of items for everyone, but it might give you some ideas, some things to experiment with, especially like combining the books. I mean, we've seen books used as stairs, and we've seen them used as cabinetry. We've seen them used as cars, and that kind of thing. So using them as a pretend fabric is, I guess, I don't know if it's really um, unique, but it's maybe not seen all that often. So this will give you some more um, things to kind of tinker with when you're considering, what kind of material you're going to use for a custom couch or a custom chair or the bed or maybe what do you call those things? The ottoman, the little footstool things, that kind of stuff. So if that spurs, you on from this little mess that I've put together, then that's my objective to get some ideas going. So yeah, we're gonna let you go for now. Again, we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll concentrate on some of the standalone furniture, the seating bits, the table, the chair, kind of thing. See how far we can get before I'm forced to remove one of these. Um, Next week, I don't know what we got planned for next week. I know we've got the Dominion tours coming up. I'm hoping I have enough homes. If not, I will just resort to coming back to Exile Side because there's always plenty over here. But if uh, if nothing else, I will just start a new painting project or something. If I like to do a lot of busy work. I like to keep messing with stuff. I do have a few plots that I have been working on that I haven't actually finished. There's like Dill's plot with the little house, kind of, I don't know, it looks like a little house on a hill. I've got that I still haven't finished. There's Lily's plot that I could probably still do some landscaping with. There's, of course, Melon's plot that I haven't really been working on lately. Um, so there's several places we can go, and it'll be one of those or just a new little quickie project that we'll pick up next week. But tomorrow we'll be back here, and hope you guys have a great day. Remember, maintenance this afternoon for those of us in the EU part of the world. It's 4 a.m. PDT, 1 p.m. CEST. I believe those are the numbers. It's supposed to last for about an hour and 20 minutes, and it is bringing in the new Heroes Evolved update. So all of those new goodies that we've been getting a sneak peek of on the PTR, those are coming to the game live this afternoon. So if you've been looking forward to it, now's the time to celebrate. It is coming today. So, yeah, have a great day, guys. Thank you for dropping by. Thank you for the tweets, the retweets, the follows, the support, the votes, and your enthusiasm about housing, the company in the chat. I appreciate it all. And I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.